Hi, this is Sarah Hinchliff, and I'm part of NC State's year Masters in Teaching program with an introduction to Dave Burgess's Teach Like a Pirate book, Increase Student Engagement, Boost Your Creativity, and Transform Your Life as an Educator. Why teach like a pirate? We're not talking about the side of pirates that attack and loots, but their general manifesto. So they have a lot of spirit, they reject the status quo, they put in the hard work for something they value, and they venture into the unknown without a map. So Dave definitely shows the pirate spirit through his book. You can almost feel the enthusiasm come alive on the page. I'm assuming this is a lot like the way he presents or performs. And it sets the tone for the rest of the book and what its purpose is. Going to teach like a pirate, you're going to need to do some certain things and have some certain things. And those are passion, immersion, rapport, ask and analyze, transformation, and enthusiasm. If your lessons are going to include passion, you really need to know your content. You need to know your subject to be excited in order to teach it that way. But it's inevitable that there will be things in your content that you just can't get excited about. They just don't interest you that much. Then you really need a full passion for the profession. So going back to kind of why you began teaching and why you still teach. Basically, your profession and the teaching itself, you must have meaning. Also, passion in your professional life. Incorporating your outside passions into the classroom will allow your students to be intrigued by you as a person and the lessons itself, and it may inspire them to keep pursuing their own passions. You also need rapport in your lessons. You need to make connections, know your students, make connections. And once you know your students and what they're interested in, you can make connections to their lives, and which will make what they're trying to learn more applicable. Letting students know you're available also lets them know you're interested in them. And you can't have a class that is fully engaged without offering a safe, supportive environment. As Dave said, this is a no meanness zone. If a class does not feel safe, they can't feel fully engaged. And also make sure everyone in the class knows each other's names, not just you as the teacher, but each of the students should know each other's names. How can students feel included if their fellow students don't even know who they are? So Dave suggests asking yourself, how can I make this lesson be outrageously entertaining, engaging, powerful, so my students will never forget it and will be desperate to come back for more. That means using some creativity, but creativity doesn't just happen. People aren't just automatically creative. It takes some work. And in work, you need to, for creativity, you need to use the creative process, considering what you want your lessons to look like and seeking out inspirations to make that happen. Once you start searching, the ideas will start to come. And once they start to come, you need to make sure you have a way to capture those ideas. So generally, simpler is better. So you can capture them when and where they come. And then, of course, again, spending time on your own personal passions will help inspire you to come up with more creative ways for your lessons and bringing those in. Transformation. We need to make our classes different, maybe blurring the lines a bit between what is entertainment and what is a class, which means you really need to decide what you want your classes to look like. How will that work for you? What works for one person may not work for someone else. You need to position yourself, create sort of your own brand that's different from maybe other classes or what students already know of that subject, which means reframing, taking a subject that students have always seen as sort of maybe difficult or boring and making it fun and purposeful. Really, a big chunk of this book is how to get students hooked. And Dave also offers a ton of ideas on ways to get the class's attention and keep that attention throughout the lesson. So a lot of these are kind of more resources that you could go to when it applies. So maybe one for this lesson and one for that lesson. And all of them may not apply to all teachers and your personalities. And you could kind of find what you think is going to work for you or for this particular class that you're teaching. So one example of one of these hooks is the kinesthetic hook. So movement adds to the flow of oxygen and blood, adding energy. Sometimes things just get dull and we need to move around a bit if we're going to be able to pay attention. So incorporating some movement, adding things to roll or throw, getting up and acting things out, or incorporating gestures or motions, or even playing a game. Just getting everyone, including ourselves, up and moving around, and especially if it can relate to the lesson. A second hook of the many that Dave talks about in the book is the chef hook. So you can add some food that would potentially go with the lesson. Maybe you bring something in. I could even see asking students to bring something in. Find food that's a perfect match. Maybe it can just demonstrate a point somehow, depending on the class. Be an incentive, or just provide a positive atmosphere. Popcorn on a movie day, that sort of thing. So this quote from the book inspired me mainly because it's just about being present, and I think it's something that could be said for really most things that you do in life. You could use a similar idea, just being present, being there, and really enjoying everything that you do in life. So building rapport is all about interacting with your students as fellow human beings, not just as subordinates. Kids can tell the difference between teachers who only seem to care about them when they are sitting in the classroom and those who see past the student to the unique person who resides inside. So basically, remembering the purpose for why you're there. It's not just a job, and it's about being present in the moment. Thanks.